Hello. I am so excited that you are joining me today to talk about oils and emotional wellness. Um, if you all know me at all, I signed on for this natural living lifestyle and essential oils looking for the immune system and health and wellness benefits that they would bring us. And we have found great results in that category. But I have to confess that for a long time, I was very resistant to the idea that not only can these help our immune system, digestive health, pain management, muscles, stress, I was resistant to the fact that essential oils can also benefit emotions. And I'm not exactly sure why, but I think that in my mind, that was the category of this that was out there, hocus pocus, if you will. And so it was a shock to me the first time I experienced a real emotional benefit from an essential oil. And I'll tell you exactly what it was. If you were sitting here with me, I would be passing this one around. All right. So Balance is by far my favorite emotional oil. And so to start this off right, what I would do is I would take this Balance and I'd put a drop in your palm. And I would have you rub that, give it a nice inhale. This blend is so phenomenally powerful at helping your body manage stress naturally. And so just like with all of it, my nerd kicked in, right? I needed to be satisfied in the area that there was science supporting what I was experiencing so powerfully. So picture that moment, right? My kids were about to come home from school, and I deal with family generational depression, bipolar anxiety. I'll just go ahead and throw that one out there. And I felt that, that tension, that tightness in your chest that came up. I was walking in circles. I was walking in circles in my house because I wasn't exactly sure what to do next as I prepared for my kids and the crazy that is that homework hour. And so I had actually gotten this oil Balance as a promotion. It was one of our product of the month, which I can tell you about more. And so I didn't even seek this out, but I tried it. So I put it on like a perfume because I think the smell is awesome. And it wasn't 30 seconds later, all of a sudden I felt more in control. I felt more focused in my thoughts. I felt less frantic. And so that was my experience. After that, I never looked back. And so my hope for you all is that through this education in this class, you are connected with the freedom that you're seeking in terms of natural emotional response. Now, of course, I have to give you a disclaimer. My goal is never, never, never to say anything against conventional medicine. And so please never hear that come out of my mouth. For us, we found that any time that we could be free of a synthetic in favor of a natural option that was just as effective, that was a win. My family does not respond to synthetic things well. And so I've found that the same is true in my kids. Our bodies metabolize these natural things like food. There's no side effects. And so having something that's just as effective and of freedom from even just a single dose of something synthetic, that was a win in our home. And so again, that's my hope for you all, that you all are connected with natural options that you might not have considered that could set you free from even just a single dose of something synthetic. So I'm excited to hop into this essential wellness content with you. And so this is what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at the science behind emotions and essential oils. We're going to look at tools and habits that can help balance that body chemistry and support your emotions naturally. And then practical stuff. So I've got some recipes and blends and things to toss at you. Now, big picture. One thing I love about doTERRA is that it recognizes that we are a whole body, right? So there's a lot of things that play into our health, and there are a lot of things that play into our emotions. I don't know why this was so mind-blowing, but have you ever thought about the fact that emotions are simply a chemical response in your body? There has to be something chemical there. It's a cellular interaction where your body either chooses stress, that fight or flight response, it chooses tension, it chooses inflammation, or in contrast, it chooses to manage that stress, deal with it rationally, and keep your body in that great homeostasis. So that's what we're hoping to address, that this is a whole body thing. And so we're going to be talking in particular with emotions about what we call the three brains. So the image on the right, this is our pyramid, our wellness pyramid, what you eat, your exercise, your rest and stress management, your toxicity, any kind of stuff you're using, that informed self-care as well as proactive medical care, all that plays into your health and wellness. But the three brains, that's what we're going to call them, the three things that contribute to your emotions in particular are in the category of, are we nourishing our spirit and our body and our mind? And so I want to distinguish what those three are and give you some examples so that we can put some real practical use to this concept. Again, I mentioned emotions are just an interaction between cells, right? So that set me free from the guilt that came with feeling like I felt dark or I felt anxious simply because my brain wasn't powerful enough to tell my body to chill out. You know how your emotions react sooner than even your brain can respond? For some reason, I thought that if I were stronger, that my brain could take charge. And so I've learned that there is a chemical thing here that's even behind what your self-talk sounds like in your head, although that is a contributing factor. And so I want to talk about that as well. So again, big picture, chemistry is involved here, right? Let me take a step back though. I haven't even introduced myself. My name is Rachel Hyder. I am a mom of 4 little ones. They're wonderful. And we started this journey of essential wellness, and I have been teaching classes in this area for 5 years now. So I want to make sure that you have all the basics. Essential oils are simply plant extracts that are highly, highly concentrated. So when I put this drop of balance on my palm, I'm not only experiencing the aromatic benefits by inhaling it, but I am also experiencing the topical benefits because this is lipid soluble. So it's able to circulate through my body very quickly and give me results that way. A third way that essential oils can be used is internally. So we'll talk about that as well. I would take an oil internally if I want to make sure it's completely absorbed, it's absorbed quickly, and or I want to deal with something in the digestive system. So that's why I would take it internally. Let me take a step back again and just tell you why I landed on doTERRA, because this is very important. I landed on doTERRA essential oils because at the time, I researched all of the essential oil companies out there, and I found very quickly that essential oils are not regulated. So if you might notice, they're everywhere, right? They're in every storefront because they've gotten quite popular. And the reason for that is because of their use in synthetic and aromatic contexts. So when you see an essential oil that's really inexpensive, it might even say 100% pure, 100% natural, 100% therapeutic grade. None of these are regulated by anything outside of the aromatherapy category. Okay, so what does that mean? doTERRA is the only company I found that tests all of their essential oils on a molecular level 3 separate times during its extraction and production process. And it posts those third-party purity testing results right on their website so you can see it. And that website is source2you.com, sourcetoyou.com. And that was important to me because I was using these essential oils on my little list of babies and taking them internally. So purity matters. The other thing I love about doTERRA that I found out later is that they source their oils from the native climate and environment that the plant is intended to grow. So what does that mean? That means that doTERRA oils are sourced from over 46 different countries around the world. And so you are getting the best of the best. This is the only essential oil company in over 30 hospitals across the nation because they're consistent in their health and wellness benefits, as well as safe for use when used properly. Another thing, though, to mention is that you want to dilute, right? So these are very, very pure. 1 drop of peppermint essential oil from doTERRA is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So know that the stuff I'm talking about is pure and it's potent, and a little goes a long, long way. All right, so now that you've got the basics under your belt, let's talk about emotions. I'm going to get nerdy just for a second. I won't hover on this too long, but I just thought this was really fascinating. There is a professor, Dr. Hans Hatt, who is in Germany, and he produced some really groundbreaking research in terms of how emotions are processed. And he discovered that emotions are actually processed through olfactory receptors, right? So smell receptors, which makes sense, where we've always known that our sense of smell is very powerfully affluent upon our emotions. And so what was interesting, though, about what he found is that there are actually olfactory receptors in every major organ in your body, including the internal ones that, you know, are not connected directly to your nose or to the air around your body. Why would that be? I find it fascinating that we have smell receptors in every organ of our body, because that just reinforces the concept that emotions are a chemical response. And so you have got to be supporting your body as a whole. And so that's why you can not only support emotions aromatically by diffusing through the air, like we just talked about, but you can also support emotions by using oils internally, because it's going to affect those responses, those emotional responses throughout the entire body. Cool, right? All right, so we mentioned the 3 brains. Let me explain those a little bit better. So we have the mind, right? So that's that mental, that's that thought, that's that logic and intellect, right? But we also have our heart. Have you talked about, you know, how I love someone with all my heart, right? We know that our heart is a contributor to emotions, and that's what we're going to call our intuition there in our heart. But there's also your gut. Your gut is also heavily tied to emotions, right? You get a gut feeling about something, or if you're stressed, your stomach gets tight. And so you need to pay attention to these 3 things, because they all are involved in your emotions and your mood management, right? They communicate with one another, and they feed back to and therefore influence the mind. So it's not just the brain that we're talking about, right? All right, so let's do an example. Say, here's me, my crying baby, and I'm on the cell phone, and my dog is standing on my leg, you know, demanding something. All 3 of these brains respond to that life experience, okay? So your brain might be thinking, I have to figure this out, right? Your heart might be thinking, I'm really overwhelmed right now. And then your gut might be thinking, I'm completely stuck. Right? Do you know what I'm talking about when I mention these 3 things? So all those are happening at the same time, right? So how are we going to react? Well, we might have a headache. We might get head tension. Our heart might be torn between, oh my goodness, I'm a terrible mother, or, oh, I've got to deal with the next thing, or why are they crying? I don't know how to make this stop, right? That's your heart. You're conflicted. And then your gut responds too. I've found that this is incredibly true for me. I have all kinds of gut stuff, and there is a ton of research out there about the gut-brain connection. So know that your gut health is very highly, highly connected to your emotions, right? So we'll talk about what you can do to address that if that's you as well. So make sure that you're not feeding in lies, right? So you do have to take charge of the thoughts in your mind. And for me, I need scripture, right? I go to some specific memory verses that I have learned, and I speak them into those moments of of absolute stress. And in that way, I'm hopefully harboring positive belief, right? We don't want to be pouring things that are negative in. Now, here is why balance was so powerful in my experience, all right? So do you see this blood study? So the image on the left, do you see how clumpy those cells are? This was a finger prick of a woman in her 30s before applying balance. And you could go on YouTube and actually see the live movement of this cell sample. Then, after taking this blood sample, they applied a drop of balance on the bottom of the feet. Interestingly enough, there are nerve endings to every major organ in your body on the bottom of your feet. And if you're worried about any kind of skin irritation with essential oils, put them on the bottom of your feet because they're very low risk for sensitivity there. Balance also has a little bit of diluent in it. So on this one, I can use it straight out of the bottle without any skin irritation, but you can always snag a coconut oil, vegetable oil of any kind. We use fractionated coconut oil, which is a liquid version. And that way you lower any kind of skin sensitivity in that regard too. So what this blood study was, what the next step was, is they put 1 drop of balance on the bottom of this woman's feet and did another finger prick sample 30 seconds later. Look at the difference. So it isn't hocus pocus, y'all. When I put that balance on and I felt like I could manage things better, it was just my body doing what it wanted to do naturally. It was helping my body deal with that stress in a healthy way. And so, so balance is one I will preach all day about this one. I also put frankincense on this image because in my opinion, this is the second most powerful essential oil for emotions. And I'll tell you why. Frankincense is unique because it can cross the blood-brain barrier, and therefore it is anti-inflammatory to the brain and the spine directly. So what does that look like for me? When I'm feeling stressed and anxious, not only do I grab my balance now, I also take my bottle of frankincense and I put a drop on my finger. Make myself a little bigger so you guys can see this. Perhaps. Okay, so I just touch the bottom of my, or the top of my bottle, and you have a choice. You can press it to the roof of your mouth or under the tongue. It's bitter, doesn't taste awesome, I'm not gonna lie. But if you're like me and you have a history of panic attacks and or migraines, this has been effective to cut those before they even get out of control. So that is a beautiful freedom that I have experienced, and I would love for you guys to sense as well. So if you guys feel a stressful scenario coming on, this is what you want to do. I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. I actually do this before every class I teach because I still get nervous, right? I do this before meetings that I'm intimidated by. I do this before homework time sometimes. So if there is ever a scenario where you know is going to be, there's going to be stress response just because that's your natural go-to in that moment, get these 2 in your home and on and in your body because you are going to love them. You're going to love them. All right, so those are my first 2. I believe they're a must. What just happened? Your emotions and your oils are interacting chemically, okay? Did you know that in 1 drop of an essential oil, there's over 40 million trillion molecules? These chemical compounds service every single cell in your body. That's more molecules than there are cells in your body, which is why these are so powerful, even if you're just using 1 drop, which is my recommendation. More is not better with essential oils. Remember this, less is more frequently. And so wild orange is on this one because this is another one that's fantastic for mood management. And I love to pair it with, here we go. I love to pair this one with peppermint. So again, if you were in my class, I would be passing these around. And what I would do is I would put a drop of each of these in your palm. All right. So I would put these in your palm right here. This is called a focus blend. And I wish you could experience this. The peppermint is great at opening airways. And as you can see from this slide, Citrus oils are powerful at detoxification, all right? So they can purify those toxins that are blocking your ability to manage emotions in a healthy way. Citruses are also uplifting. So along with your balance and your frankincense, get some citrus oils in your home and in your body. You can put them on your palm like that aromatically. I love to drink them in my water. So I put a drop or two of wild orange in some water, and I love, love, love to sip on that throughout the day. If you're walking through our cleanse with us, which I'll mention in a minute, we're actually doing that actively right now. Drink on citrus oils all day long. Add them to your water. Again, less is more. You only need 1 to 4 drops in a big old glass of water. But you are going to fall in love with how your body feels when you introduce all those great antioxidants and detox properties into your system and your health and wellness. All right, so what's happening there? Your essential oil is supporting those cell receptors, promoting healthy cell function, and helping maintain that cell's natural state so that it's not under stress or dealing with inflammation. There's that peppermint, right? Okay, so why did I do peppermint and wild orange together? That wild orange was purifying. The peppermint helps with focus, right? So if you have a mental fog thing going on, this is the one you want to snag. And pairing it with that wild orange is a fantastic blend that is going to powerfully help you focus. So even if it's later in the afternoon and it's too late for another cup of coffee, this is the one you want, right? This is the one you want. And so this is now my go-to for when the kids are about to come home, because 2, 3 p.m. is our craziest hour of the day, and I needed a plan in place. My plan now is peppermint and wild orange so that I can be focused, I can breathe, I can feel cleansed, and I'm awake. I need to be awake because it's too late for another cup of coffee, and these two smell amazing. You can also diffuse peppermint and wild orange nearby during homework to support your kids, or you can make a roller blend of it, which I'll talk about in a second, for the bottom of their feet if they need focus for their homework time after they're exhausted at school. This is great for kids too. All right, so aromatic, we talked about. Smell is the fastest way to affect mood. But I want you to choose your favorite way of doing this. I love to diffuse because it cleans the airway and it helps support your mood and the sense of the room in a very powerful way, while at the same time being very low risk. So make sure that you're diffusing if this is something that you really want to target, especially in your own home, right? Topically, use these topically diluted so that you can address very specific areas, right? Okay, so if you're dealing with emotions, this is an example. We love this blend, past tense, all right? So I have it here. Past tense is fantastic for head tension, all right? So that's what this is actually marketed for. And what I would do for head tension is I would apply it right there on my temples, and it would set me free from that throbbing feeling, right? On kids, if it's too strong for the eyes, it does have mint in it, you can put it on the back of the neck, right? But let's understand now that not only does every oil you have a physical or wellness aspect to it, like head tension, but there's also an emotional side to it, right? Past tense can also address this feeling of confusion or stress in your muscles, right? So you can apply it over the heart, you can apply it on the back of the neck, or you can apply it over the gut or the bottom of the feet and address those areas of concern in terms of your emotions as well as physical response. Internal, what's one that I would take internally? I mentioned my frankincense. I do that one internally. I put that one under my tongue. And the reason for that is because, let's be honest, I'm a control freak. When I put that frankincense under my tongue, I know that all of it is being absorbed and it's going directly to my bloodstream. That's why I like to do internal. If you hate the taste, do it aromatically, do it topically. You're going to get the same great benefits. On Guard, however, is one of our most popular blends for seasonal threats, right? This boosts your immune system. You can take it under the tongue. You can put it in water. You can put it in a gel cap so you don't have to take it. I'll show you one of those. All right, so if there is an oil you want to take internally, but you can't stand the taste of it, you can get these empty little veggie caps, right? So once you have your oils, we're going to educate you and connect you with all of the ways to make this as easy on you as possible. But this oil in particular, On Guard, doesn't taste that bad to me, and it feels fantastic on a sore throat, y'all. It smells like Christmas. It has a cinnamon, wild orange, clove aroma to it. So this is one that's huge in our home. And this one, while supporting your immune system as the physical the physical aspect of its benefits, let's think about it emotionally. On Guard is also protective if you're feeling vulnerable, right? So if there's an emotional vulnerability, this would be the oil that you would grab. Are you seeing that there's a connection between the physical and the emotional? We're not so simple that it isn't a whole big picture thing. All right, so I wanted to give you guys these recipes. One thing that I couldn't leave out is that sleep is a huge factor for emotional health, right? So make sure that you're resting. Make sure that you're resting. Here are a couple blends. This one on the far left, this one's specific for nerves. So it has helichrysum, lavender, marjoram, Roman chamomile. So there's a blend for nerves. Helichrysum, I can't rave enough about this one. Personally, it was a little expensive for me, but then once I started on my rewards, I actually got it for free. So ask me how to do that if some of these expensive ones are out of your budget for now. The one in the middle, Slumber Baby. This one's beautiful. Roman chamomile, balance. That one I talked about, and lavender. And then the one on the right, Peaceful Child Blend, is fantastic for stabilizing that nervous system. So this one covers all your bases, and this is your step up from some of the ones that are typical. All right, so I want to show you what these look like. Okay, so when you're making a roller bottle, why would we do that? All right, so here's a 10 milliliter roller bottle. We would mix these with the recipe. See, notice that the amounts are really tiny. So I would just put a little bit of that essential oil into it. And then what I do is I fill the rest with fractionated coconut oil. So that's what's listed there as FCO, fractionated coconut oil. And all it is your coconut oil kept liquid. What's nice about rollers is that now you have something on the go that you can just roll right on. It's already diluted and you're set. You're set. So I like to apply my rollers that are for emotional support on just like I would a perfume. And so that's how you would use these. If you don't love the smell, put them on the bottom of your feet. Nerve endings for the brain and the spine are your big toe. So just get these on you. And let's see, we'll talk about this. I'll come back to that in just a second. Nutrition is also huge, right? So we talked about how there's a very strong gut-brain connection. And so you don't have to read all this. If you're nerdy like me, please feel free to look into this. But I found this really compelling in my research about depression because that's a generational thing in my family. But I was shocked to realize that most types of depression can be connected to a deficiency in your nutrition and or a toxicity that your body's having trouble getting rid of. And so I want to make sure that if it's a nutritional thing, you understand that that's a super easy fix. All you need is really great intake, and you need to detox that nonsense that your body's having trouble with releasing. So one thing that I want to mention is that Lifelong Vitality Pack. Okay, so you guys have probably heard me talk about this a bajillion times over. This is a food-based nutrition. It has 3 parts. Your first, the Microplex there, is your food-based multivitamin. The E-Omega, that one is your healthy omegas for brain and cardiovascular health. So that's sourced from both land and marine animals. And so that's your healthy omegas, right? And then the one in the middle here, the Alpha CRS, this is the one that, in my opinion, made the biggest difference for me in terms of my energy and and overall emotional health, right? So our food simply doesn't have what it used to have 2 generations ago, even if you bought all organic. And so I've noticed that this makes a huge, huge difference in my overall health and wellness. And what's really cool about it, doTERRA has a guarantee that if you don't feel different after 30 days on it, you can return the empty bottles for a full refund. So you're going to fall in love with this. You're not going to have, as my dad used to joke, expensive pee, because this is all really bioavailable, very safe, and absorbable levels. And so I want more than anything for you guys to experience all that you can in terms of health, and nutrition is the foundation for that. This is going to support you in that. All right, we talked about the toxicity part, right? We are actively going through this 30-day cleanse together. And so we are on phase 1, that phase 1 that says activate, using Zendocrine, which is a blend that helps detox petrochemicals and heavy metals. And so there's a whole nother class about cleansing that I would love to connect you with if you would like. Remember that these oils are very potent and each individual is going to react differently. So make sure you start very low and enjoy the fact that your body's releasing junk, because on the other side of that, imagine how much energy and wellness you're going to experience. So ask me about that cleanse class if you want more information there. Gut. Consider your gut. How does your gut respond to stress? Are you like me? Is that where you hold your tension? If that's the case, you might need some cleansing and support of that gut. And a probiotic is always a fantastic way to start. So there's your PB Assist. It has prebiotics and probiotics so that it's going to benefit all levels of the gut, and make sure that that gut microbes, the microbe in the gut, there we go, is supported and maintained and established. So you're gonna really love that probiotic. There's your citrus oils, lemon, get that going on. There's the Zendocrine I mentioned. That's the first part of cleansing. GX Assist is fantastic for that colon, and enzymes. Enzymes are a phenomenal way to take the pressure off your gut in digesting your food. So make sure that your digestive function is solid, because this is scientifically linked to mood as well. All right, now, what about your immediate stuff, right? That's the whole body. What do you do in that moment? I told you that what I do is I grab balance, right? Or frankincense under the tongue. doTERRA has a beautiful set of blends that support emotions immediately. So are you feeling, I'm looking at this wheel, are you feeling somber? Are you feeling bored? I would grab cheer, or I would grab passion to address those moods. And what am I doing? I'm targeting a very specific emotion with a blend in the family that's going to address that. Citrus oils are uplifting, right? The spices help spice up your life for that boredom, right? The florals on the other end of the spectrum are great if you're feeling insecure or hurt or worried. So know that different families of oils address different moods in the moment. My favorites, I'm not gonna lie, are the trees, herbs, and grasses. I love the depth of those woodsy smelling oils. And the reason for that is because that's what's going to help address anxiety. So if you need that grounding, balance is on that spectrum down there because it has a blue spruce oil in it. So know that those trees are going to be grounding for you. So there's a logic to this. And so I'm going to show you, now this is really going to tell you how far I've come, right? I've been doing this a while, y'all, so don't judge. This is my emotions pouch. Here it is. And all of these oils are available in a touch form. So here's my Motivate Touch. Motivate is very similar to that peppermint and wild orange combination. So if you want that peppermint wild orange on the go without carrying those bottles, now you've got a roller that's already pre-diluted that can help you wake up in the moment. Even nerdier, there is an app that can actually tell you which oil you need in that moment. So you just kind of slide the different emotions, say, oh, I'm a little of this, oh, I'm a lot of that, and it'll tell you which oil you need. So carrying these with you to address your emotions throughout the day, it's going to rock your world, y'all. You are going to feel so much freedom from emotions that dictate you versus you managing those emotions. So make sure that you snag some of these as your mood requires. And lastly, I want you guys to evaluate your own goals here. All right. So what do I need to do to make sure that my mind is healthy, my heart is healthy, and my gut is healthy? Do you work through healthy thought patterns? Are you choosing to believe good about yourself and others? I believe in practicing gratitude, right? Be thankful for the things around you. Are you nourishing your brain with good fats and minerals, right? Are you eating those healthy things that are going to support healthy brain function? What about your heart? Do you trust your intuition? Do you have faith? Do you freely give? Do you receive love? Do you feel peaceful? Do you rest? That's a big one, right? What about your gut? Are you digesting and processing your food well? Are you nourishing your system with nutrition and enzymes? Does your body feel healthy? Because that's going to be very connected to your emotions. And so I would love to invite you to ask, what are some habits in your life that you need to weed out? What are some things that cause emotional toxicity? All right, so think about that a second. What's something that you want less of? What's something you want less of? And then we never want to weed something out without replacing it with something good, right? So what do you want to put in in place? Now, this could be as simple as I have gotten in the habit of taking Epsom salt baths, right? I lock the door and I soak in the tub and I love it. I never took a bath before kids. So find something that you can feed to make sure that your self-care and your health management is there. It can be as little as a 30-minute bath every now and then. Or it could be bigger, You decide what you want to tackle and make it happen. Make it happen. All right, so I like this quote. You fill your bucket drop by drop. You clear your mind thought by thought. You can heal yourself moment by moment. It's about baby steps, y'all. It's about baby steps. So choose to do the little things now because it's going to build into something awesome. I want to give credit to where a lot of this content comes from. So here are the books and things that you could seek more information about oils and emotions. And then lastly, I want to mention the way doTERRA works and how to connect you with the best prices here. So let me make myself bigger here. All right. So the way the doTERRA works is that it's set up just like a Costco or Sam's wholesale membership. And so my recommendation to you, if you are ready to get your emotions and your overall health and wellness under control, snag one of the starter collections that's going to waive your $35 wholesale fee and get you 25% off access with no additional commitment to it. So what that involves is getting our top 10 oils kit. And there are two options there. We have the small bottle kit and we have the large bottle kit. I thought I had a picture, y'all, and I don't. I'll post it under this video. So the Home Essentials kit is our large bottle kit. It's $275 and it comes with a diffuser. That, in my opinion, is by far the best value. It has a huge bottle of frankincense in it. Has this baby in it. And that alone is $93 retail. So please do not pay that much for your frankincense. It's also going to have that peppermint. It's going to have some lemon oil. It's going to have Digest Zen to support your gut. This is one that you need on hand. It has that On Guard in it to get started. And then what I want you to do is look at your budget for the next month, and I want you to snag the touch rollers. So get those emotion touch rollers because that's the most cost-effective way to try all 5 of these emotions oils. Add your balance and start getting rewards points back on that. So you're going to get so many freebies for these collections, as well as the support from an awesome team who loves to educate. So choose what you're most comfortable with to start with. Home Essentials kit, that large bottle kit is $275. There's a small bottle version that's 150, just as awesome, just smaller bottles and no diffuser. So whatever you're most comfortable with. And then wait that next month, look into the vitamins, look into the touch rollers, and then stay in touch, because we want to make sure that your money is worth every penny that you've spent in terms of freedom in your health and wellness. Thank you, guys. Check out the links so that you can snag those wholesale offers and see the freebies for this month. And thank you so much for your time. I am so excited to hear all of the great results that you guys experience. And just know that we want nothing more than for you to experience the same freedom that we have. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.